Welcome back to the Crochet Creatos, my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today we're going to do the beginner crochet throw, absolutely for beginners. Today's video I'm going to assume that you know how to hold the hook and the yarn, so I'll put a link in the more information in this video if you want the beginner series of how to hold your hook and yarn. So this is a really great project, maybe one of those projects that is your first time ever doing a blanket. It's also called the throw when it's just like throwing onto a couch, and then Afghan is also called for blankets as well. So we have a blanket here. It's using Red Heart Super Saver Chunky. By using chunkier yarn you can do a project faster, so if you're concerned about this taking forever, if you thicken up the yarn and use a bigger hook, then you can go a lot faster. Let's take a look at the particular product that I'm about to show you, and if you're ever at the yarn store, here's what you want to look for. So this is recommending a 9mm size M as in Michael crochet hook, and you can also substitute depending on the ball band. So let's take a look at that next. When you're looking at the ball band, they have information here, so it's telling you that it's a level 6 weight, so you'll see this is changing depending on the thickness of the yarn, so it could be 1 all the way to 7. So 6 is almost the largest thickness available to you. So if you were knitting for this, it's asking you to use an 8mm size US 11, and if we're crochet, which we're about to do, it's an 8mm size L-11. So for those that use metric, as in Canada, you know, the UK, Australia, we all use our hooks as within these millimeters, and then if you're in the US then you tend to use a letter, and sometimes this coding that you see here. So depending where you live, and then here's the washing instructions as you can see. So what you want to do is you want to take a look at that. So this is an 8mm size L, and so I'm going to use an 8mm size L, and I'm going to be just demonstrating with Bernat Chunky. I also have Bernat Softy Chunky Tweeds, which will be the actual demonstration yarn for today. Before I let you go too far, this is the end of the video, but I just threw it in at the beginning. If you want to learn how to change those yarns out with the tapestry needle, if you have to go from one ball to the next, I'm going to provide that link in the more information of this video. You'll be able to find that there, and we'll carry on in today's video to get to this. So when we look at this, it looks like that it's mesh work, and that's because we're gonna work in the spaces between the stitches. So as a beginner, you know, finding those tops of the stitches can be a little bit difficult, but you can find your way between spaces quite easily. So once we get ourselves started, row number 3 all the way to 89 is just chain 2 to start, and then 1 double crochet in the space between each of the double crochets. So each of these abbreviations that you see here is just a matter of just following along. So if you're not sure about the short forms, if you go to the abbreviations you can see what this is, and in time, if you're becoming familiar and you're loving crochet more and more, when you go to read these instructions, you don't just say SC in this second CH from the hook in each CH chain, or each CH across. So I just kind of made a mistake because that's what my point. So as an experienced crocheter, I just automatically say SC is single crochet in the second chain from the hook and each chain across. So your brain is just seeing the short form here, but you're saying it to yourself out loud exactly how it is actually supposed to be. So let's look at row number 2. Chain 2 counts as the first double crochet here and throughout. Double crochet in each single crochet across, and then turn, and this is telling you how many stitches there are going across. So you might want to keep an eye on that number just to make sure that if you think you're going off and creating a new shape other than the rectangle, then that's probably what's happening, is that you're missing a stitch somewhere along the path. When we get all the way around, we're just going to just do one round just to kind of finalize it, make it all pretty, and then that's it for today. So let's grab our 8mm size L crochet hook in order to play, and if you want to use this exact same yarn, Red Heart Super Saver Chunky, with a 9mm size M, that size of hook is kind of harder to find. So either an 8mm size L, or you can do a 10mm size N as in Nancy crochet hook too. Let's begin. So on camera you're gonna be seeing this today, Bernat Softy Chunky Tweeds. It's got this tweeding effect, so it makes it a very homespun look, but it's just manufactured to make it look like it's more naturally spun from the sheep. So let's begin. So as mentioned in the video description, there will be a link to how to do the basic stuff like the stitches and the slip knots. So it's gonna assume that you know how to hold your hook, and we're gonna create a slip knot to begin. And this is your my first blanket. You could call it your first blanket. And what you just want to do is create a slip knot, and you want to chain 83. Remember to chain, you're gonna rowboat back, so just rowboat. So just collect it, turn the hook upside down and pull through. So 1, and then 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and go all the way to 83 of those. Just be kind of loose with your hook and continue along. Once you have your 83 done, just put me on pause, get your 83 done, and then we'll just review on what to do next. So we're gonna get ourselves started and working across this chain. So we want to go second chain from the hook. So 1 and 2. So 1 and 2, go to the second, and in the second go to the back hump of that chain. It's right there, and you're just gonna insert your hook in to the back hump only. So don't wrap it first, just go right in, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. That's a single crochet. Now that I went into the back hump, the chain should stay upside down. So the next one is right here, and then here and here. So in each of these chains going all the way across, it'll be a single crochet. So just sticking it into the back hump of the next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So in, pull through 2, in, yarn over, pull through. So yarning over and then just wrapping the hook and all of that. It's kind of the same lingo. And so you'll go all the way across your chain just like this. So now's the time to put me on pause and then start in the next section. So once you get to the end of the row, you just go right to the very end. And I can tell that's the last because when I pull this tight, there's nothing left. So you're gonna turn, and then let's begin row number 2. So row number 2 is gonna get ourselves established for this pattern, and then row number 3 is the repeat. So we're going to begin by just chaining only 2, which is kind of odd because usually double crochet is counting as 3, but they have a reason for that, and it's just a blending. So in the very next stitch right here is where you're going to go. See that right there? So do you see the tops of each of these stitches? So to do a double crochet, you're gonna wrap the hook first, and then going in, insert into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 3, or pull through 2 again. So you're just gonna go to the next one. So yarning over and into the next stitch, pull through, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then you're done. So I'll quieten up and I'll keep doing a few more. Okay, and then you want to put me on pause now and then meet me up and I'll finish this line with you. For those that are ready to move on, you're just gonna continue to go, and you want to go all the way to this last one before you're done. So in that very last one, just double crochet in, pull through 2 and 2, and it should be a nice flat edge just like you see. So let's turn our work and do row number 3, which is the repeat for this remainder of this project. So let's do row number 3. What makes this a beginner blanket is now that we're not gonna focus on the tops of the stitches, we're gonna focus on the spaces between the stitches. So to start a row, each and every time now going forward, you're going to only chain 2. So 1 and 2, and that will count as your first double crochet. Your next one will be right in the space between the 2, right there. So you're gonna double crochet right into the space. Okay, and then the next one is in between the next 2. It's in the space, and this is what's creating that mesh look. Do you see that? So you're not worried about the spacing, or you're not worried about the stitch work, you're just worried about the spaces. The reason why they're having you chain 2 and not chain 3, which I said was kind of unusual, is because the stitches are lower. So if you were working on the tops of these stitches, you would chain 3, but because you're not, you're sinking somewhat down, so therefore chain 2 is the right answer. And you're gonna go all the way to the other side, so just put me on pause now and then I'll show you how to finish off. For those that are ready to continue, the very last space between the last two is the last stitch. If you are not sure, you can count these posts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There should be 10 posts here. I don't know if there is, but we'll count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I know there's exactly the same number. So now we're gonna turn our work and begin the same row. Okay, so everything now is the same now all the way to row number 89. So chain 2 to begin, and you're gonna go in between the space and you're gonna double crochet and then go into the next space. Do you see that? You're just going in between the spaces. I've seen this stitch before. I've never seen a whole afghan done like this. So this is new for me, even after all these years. Okay, put me on pause now if you need to, and then I'll show you how to finish the row just in case. And remember, the last one here, for those ready to move on, is the last stitch. It's the last space. So let's count, and you won't need to count if you're confident. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're gonna turn your work, chain 2, and this will be the last row, and then I'll show you how to do the border. So just going into spacing. So you can see it gives a unique look. So the tweed effect that you're seeing here is just kind of randomized, and it gives the blanket a more of a homemade look. It's not for everybody, but it's a style that you can, that may go along with your furniture quite nicely, and remember to go in between the space. When you're ready to move on and say that you're finished your whole thing, so you got your rows up to 89, you can stop at any height that you want to. So let's just review on how to do your border. So don't fasten off, turn your work, and then let's begin the next part, which will be the border. So we've already turned our work and we're ready for the border. So say you're happy with the size of your blanket. So to start the next part here, we want to chain 1, and we're just gonna work across the top in the regular stitches as a single crochet. So coming in right into the top of the first stitch. So we're not skipping to the second because it's not a double crochet. So right into the one where it comes out of, you're going to single crochet. So in, pull through 2. And you're gonna go into each stitch as a single crochet. And you're gonna work across your top edge like this. Eventually you'll come out to the very last one, so just going into that chain 2 and single crochet. Now when you work down the sides, you're gonna have these spaces just like you see. So they're telling you to space it out. So the first space will have 2 single crochets, so just turn your project and naturally do it, and 2 single crochets into that space, and then 1 single crochet into the next space, 2 into the next space, and then 1 into the next space. And you want to do that all the way down so that it's going to be equally spaced, and then eventually you hit the very bottom. So just come into the last one here and then naturally turn your work. So we're going along the bottom. We're just going to do a single crochet in each of the stitches. Because I had you go into the back loop only, you have a perfect looking edge to play with. So you're just gonna work your way all the way around in the same manner. And then eventually you'll hit the edge. So go into the last one and then start again. So the first one here, the first space, just put 2 into the first one. So 1 and 2, and then 1 into the next one, and then 2 into the next, and keep doing that. So just keep every other one has either 1 or 2. Just equally spacing it out. and then eventually you'll come back to the very beginning and you'll do a slip stitch. So to do a slip stitch, you're gonna come into the top of the first one here, going into the top of the stitch, pulling it through and through, and that's a slip stitch, and that finishes it. So let me show you how to fasten this off. So just snip your yarn and let's begin to do that next. So pull the yarn through the loop and that will lock that, and take that yarn and put it onto a tapestry needle. This is called a wool hook, or sorry, wool needle. So we're just gonna put this on. It's got a really big edge to it, or a big eye. So I want to turn it, so this is the front side of the work. So I want to turn it to the back side and just stick the needle in through the back. So if you turn it around, you should not see that needle. So you're sticking it into the plies, but not deep, so deep that it's gonna go through the work, and pull through once, twice, and 3 times. And you'll do that every time you have yarn that needs to be changed over for these ends. And that's how you do it. And then what you can do is enjoy. So this is how you do this beginner throw. Hopefully that you enjoy, and that's it for today. Have a good one, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.